What's going on, everybody? Well, Jay Pescicelli yesterday in an interview with THB said something that caught my attention. And if you're like me, trying to live off dividends, it's probably important to you too. Let's get into it. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper. All right. So what Jay said yesterday that really caught my attention in an interview was that he did not recommend, or he couldn't tell people to pull 100% of the dividends in Yield Max funds. And I think there's a few schools of thought here and some things to digest. So if you're like me and are looking to retire soon, this is probably important. I'd like to know what you thought of this. Honestly, before I go on, I love doing the YouTubes because I'm just a guy. And this gives me another format to talk to other people that are just like me, right? They just don't make videos. So I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts on this. So I think this doesn't come as a surprise, right? For him to say this. I mean, it comes on a surprise from one hand that he's a fund manager, and he's also a salesman. Let's not get that twisted, right? He is a salesman for his funds. So when he says something like this, it definitely makes me raise an eyebrow, since it's his job to get people to buy the funds, right? And that's why he does all these interviews and stuff like that. So with him saying that, I wonder if it broke a lot of people's hearts. At least it made me think, and I appreciate his honesty in this. And let's talk about why this could be, why he says this. Well, number one, Hog Farmer brought this up in one of the Discord servers. I can't remember if it's Kamir's or mine or whatever, but he said this, and he took a more rosy approach to this than I did. Hog said something like, well, it's because the dividends fluctuate the amount month to month. And he said that's probably why Jay said that. Well, I mean, that's probably part of it, Hogs, and I think so, but I think it has a much deeper meaning, okay, buddy, than everybody else. I think that's like the rosy approach to it. Me, I'm a little more cynical at times, and more protective in my thought process anyway. And I think and here's how I took it. Many of the funds, all of them eventually will go down over time. I think that's something we can all agree on. Some much faster than others, depending upon the underlying. So, in saying that, if a fund continues to go down, you can, but it doesn't make a ton of sense to try and live off the dividends if it's continually going down. Why is that? Because you're going to lose money, right? Because you're continually pulling dividends, and if it's below your cost basis, the fund continues to go down, and the share price will continually drop over time. Therefore, right, you're going to be losing money. I don't think there's any other way to look at it, except for one. Unless you're not caring about that initially, and you have some confidence in the underlying that it will go back up, therefore bring in the Yield Max fund back up, and then you don't care. Or, I guess another frame of mind is your ROI will be paid off. But then you got to worry about multiple reverse splits in the process, right? And that's not something I want to personally deal with. One reverse split I can deal with. Multiple is not something I'm keen to get involved. So if you think your ROI will be paid off, even if you're pulling 100% of the dividends, okay, I can see that. But it's just, I don't know. I would much rather look for something else. And that's why I've been kind of like not getting in as many yield max funds as I was in initially. So for me, I think it comes back to those of us that are living or wanting to live off our dividends, that this is something we think about and discuss. And I'd love to hear other people's ideas, of course. So for me, that means things like YMAX, right? YMAX. That's what it means for me, and I have no idea why my car keeps beeping. And then another thing now, since I did some research on YMAG, that means YMAG. So now I'm in YMAG, now I'm in YMAX, and I'm also in Nvidia. And that is it for my personal yield max exposure, okay? And I don't, I'll buy AMZ if it gets low again, and I'll just kind of do that one as I've always done. Wait till it goes back up, sell it, collect share price, appreciation, and dividends. That's what I'll do with AMZ. That's what I'll probably do with MSFO when it comes back down. I've done that with those two guys multiple times because I like the underlyings. The underlyings are stable, and that's something I can trade in and out of that I feel comfortable in for months at a time, right? Anything else, guys? I don't think I'm touching it. I mean, Nvidia, I really like Nvidia. I really like the company, and I think with their stock split coming up, that's just even more bullish in the future. So Nvidia is going to be a long hold for me. That'll be a dip buy. I'm way up on that thing, right? I could sell it. I could live off the dividends on Nvidia. No problems. I could be living off the dividends on AMZ. I could be living off the dividends on MSFO. But long term, I'm not sure that that's sustainable, if that makes sense, just because we know they're going to go down over time. And someone may say, Mike, what about your Defiance funds? I'm using those as a totally separate strategy, okay? So I can talk about Defiance funds and what I'm doing with those in another video. I know I can't pull the dividends out of those and live off of them. I can right now with QQQY because it's well above my cost basis and stuff, but that's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal on those is to get the ROI paid off as soon as possible. I'll talk about that another day. But back to this. What are your thoughts on this, guys? I'd really like to know. Do you plan on using yield max to live off of and to pull 100% of the dividends? Did what Jay said confirm what you already know, like it does with me? Like, yeah, most of these you probably can't in the future. Maybe. Obviously, depends what the underlying does and what the market does, right? Did it come as a shock to you? Like, oh my gosh, if the fund manager is saying this, I probably need to take a look at my thought process. Or did it change? Nothing at all. You're continuing to buy, you're continuing to do whatever, and you're throwing what he said out the window. For me, it didn't change much. I'm just glad that he's honest and transparent about it. And honestly, it gives me more confidence in their funds. There's plenty right now. Coney, Misty, AMZ, MSFO, Nvidia, and I don't know. There's probably lots of others. Right now, currently, you can pull the dividends and live off them. There's plenty, I'm sure, that are well above most people's cost basis. I'm sure of it. But long term, will it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But right now, yeah, you can. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper, out.